Greetings and welcome to the Mount Rushmore podcast. Hey, it's January 1st. No, actually, it's a few weeks after that. We've already blown our New Year's resolution to be on time and punctual at the Mount Rushmore podcast, but we could try to be topical. Wait, we missed that too. But we are going to be discussing the Mount Rushmore of New Year's resolutions. And who's we? It's me, and I'm Jeff, and it's also Richard,
Hello.
and it's also Michael.
Howdy.
Why did we choose this, guys?
This is this was mine, and I just felt like we hadn't done like a personal one in a while.
Mm.
One where we kind of got in the nitty gritty of who we are. And
Oh yeah.
I'm not a huge New Year's resolution person, so this made me sit down and kind of think about what are some of the things I'd like to do differently or change in the new year.
Yeah.
So
I think
yeah.
that's funny. It's because it's like saying I'm not a big stepping on a rake person because each time I've done it, it's hit me hard in the head and it's been a crashing failure. Well, let's do it. So you chose it. Michael starts it.
Okay, my first resolution, and it's not necessarily from this year. I was trying to think of something is from this year, but like I was trying to think of stuff that's happened in the past, and stuff that I don't know is just it's weird. I think I'm in the same category as Richard. I don't make a ton of them. I tried to do like a Gmail search for when I used to use Gmail like every day of my life. Yeah. I couldn't find like anything. I couldn't find any
resolution.
Like,
use Gmail less.
Yeah, I couldn't find any like promises to myself, but I thought of one that I kind of generally make every year, which is to get in a little bit better shape. And it's boring and it's what everybody seems to do. But I think you just get that feeling post Christmas, Thanksgiving, like they hit you month after month, October, then, Halloween, then Thanksgiving, then Christmas. And you're just like January 1st. You're just like, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done to myself over the past 3 months? Why do I look and feel like a slug? Oh, this is awful. But I think it's probably I think it's the number one resolution probably that everybody makes. But and it's also the one that I think that is the number one that's like dropped by everybody. Like after January.
That's a good point.
18th.
Yeah. You are going through
too hard. I think it's also like it's just too hard to do.
So mine is similar to this, but not quite the same.
Yeah.
Mine is I need to stretch. Yes. Mine is I need to become as bloated as possible. No, mine is I started to say like, oh, I want to work out more, but the reality is I know I'm going to work out however much I work out. And a resolution's not going to help me with that. But what I do need to do more than anything else, and this will help me to work out more, is to stretch. I am stiff and immobile. I am basically like the anti-Gumby. I'm like if you took a Gumby and you dipped in water and froze it, and you couldn't move any of the legs or the arms or anything anymore. That's basically who I am at this point.
You're that little jar of Play-Doh that's just been left out and not capped.
Yes, and now I'm just crumbling anytime I move. So we have a Peloton, and I use it from time to time. But one of the things that you get with Peloton is you can go on their Roku channel, or go on their the Peloton app on the Roku platform, and they have a bunch of different stretching programs. 10, 15 minute, on lower body, upper body, core, all that kind of stuff. And that's what I need more than anything else, because I used to be pretty flexible and mobile, and now I am not. And that makes it hard for me. It makes it hard for you to work out. It makes it hard for you to want to run or ride a bike or do anything like that when you're just stiff and sore and achy all the time. So that's mine is stretching.
It seems like you both kind of chose, have a realistic idea of what that is for what this general idea of physical wellness is, and moving towards physical wellness in terms of mobility, and maybe it's becoming more lean, or actually leaning away from the feasting that you've been doing over the holidays, Michael, because it seems like what you're not saying is I got to lose weight. It's just I got to get off this feasting train.
Yeah,
that that
there's
method.
a like a self-realization that like, okay, I've it's just too much. And I think that there's a point when you can just really pull it in, make small changes that actually are effective.
Hmm.
Um, until next, I don't know, October.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what?
I think the real trouble with the New Year's resolutions are the assumption that it has to be lifelong or that it has to be for the full year,
Yeah.
which brings me to my second choice,
Oh, yeah.
which is just I've done this before, giving up like drinking for a month.
Hmm.
It's
A
not
dry
as hard.
January.
Yeah, or whatever it is, whatever could choose a month somewhere in there. It's not February. It's less amount of days. Get trick
Yeah.
trick yourself past that one. Uh, it's not as hard to do as you think it is. It's just like, okay, I'll instead of having a beer, I'll have a fizzy water or whatever. Uh, just drink more water, get loaded up, get so bloated on water that you can't possibly drink. The opposite of being parched is just being flooded with water. But I think having a small goal like that um, is one of those things that just like uh, is achievable. Like for like New Year's resolutions, like just don't overcommit to something because then you're gonna fall off
Yeah.
because you can't be perfect. It's like trying to convince my child to like how to make his bed. It's like you don't have to make it as good as mom and dad make your bed. Just try
Yeah.
your best. Try to get the blanket somewhat square on there and try to line up your little stuffies like as best you can, and then that's fine. It's You're good. So like
Hmm.
I think one of those for me is just like, you know what, just do it for a month. Maybe it'll stick, maybe um, it won't, but you got 30 days just and you'll feel better. A lot of it's about feeling better.
I'm impressed when people are very specific, like no meat Mondays, or no.
Mm,
I'm not going to drink on this day, or we're going to replace it with this other thing. I'm going to replace it with this thing, like you said, like water. If I'm so saturated with H2O, maybe I can't put any Jack Daniels in
Michael, if Homer Simpson can go without alcohol for a month, you can too.
that's
there.
true. That's true. Think of all the money he saved.
uh, okay, Richard, what's your second one?
All right, my second one is being more assertive at work
Oh
or not, whatever.
wow.
No, I'm especially at work, I'm a go along to get along person. If my boss gives me an assignment, even if it's something that I don't agree with, or if I'm already swamped to three other things, I'm just going to accept it and just figure out a way to make it work and just sort of move on with it.
Yeah,
And after a while, that just gets old. I think
yeah.
it's tough. And it's not my boss's fault. It's not anybody else's fault. It's my fault for not standing up and saying, wait a second, this doesn't seem right, and here's why.
Hmm.
Or hold on, I'm really swamped, so we need to rearrange my schedule so we can make everything work, or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah,
That's something that I've dealt with my whole life. And after a while, it's like, wait a second, what's the common denominator between all of these issues I've had at my job
Hmm.
where I feel like that I'm don't have not enough say in what I'm doing, or
hmm,
I'm kind of doing stuff that I don't feel, I don't feel like I have enough of a say in it. The common denominator is me. It's not the job, it's me.
yeah,
So I need to be better at standing up for myself.
yeah.
Shut up, nerd.
Okay, whatever. You're right. You're right.
What are you doing? Shut up.
Whatever.
What is it about your disposition that you think? I think of you a person who has amazing capabilities. You've been flexible enough to be employed and have all this different. You're a very resourceful person, so it seems like you have been a person who is able to accomplish all of these things. So you probably believe in yourself to the point where you can do that. Okay.
That's just the veneer. Oh my goodness.
That's yeah. It's like the candy coating outside an M&M.
Okay.
So that is. No, I guess I do. It's not so much. It's not a self confidence thing. It's just I am a confrontation averse person to
Okay.
begin
Mm.
with.
Yeah.
And I think that's more of it than anything else. And if I were to extrapolate this to be a bigger issue, I need to be less I need to be willing to embrace more confrontation
Hmm.
within reason, especially at my work, and not just go out of my way to avoid any sort of confrontations at all at the
Yeah.
expense of my happiness.
Yeah. I It's interesting to me, like the observation that you're making in the context of a New Year's resolution is capitalism. it's
Yeah,
it's our I want to not capitalism is what I want, because everything about the trends that have emerged, quiet quitting. You mean doing as much work as you're paid for?
yeah.
It's
I
viewed
never
through the
understood why that's been like a this thing that's like people are, oh my god, people are only doing what they're paid for, what
yeah,
they're asked to do. It's like, wait a second, that's the contract that we make.
yeah,
That's the deal. I
yeah.
maybe I think I've been quiet quitting since I was about 17.
It is an interesting kind of social contract, well, a contract that you have with life, in that you're going to somehow do past your ability to accomplish things as a human being. And the promise of life is that you can do anything and the world is open and miracles can happen. Nothing None of that ever happens. What it seems to what happen is what you strive for every day, and less than what you strive for.
So here's
And
the
then
best. Go ahead.
no,
If you strive for 150%, maybe you'll get 80% of what you
yeah,
want.
your fridge breaks down and there's a cat in your wall and there's all this stuff that's going on
Yeah,
that you I didn't try for any of that stuff. Ugh.
Michael.
The person that has the best kind of quiet quitting job is whoever is uh, like a 1 inning or 1 out reliever in baseball,
Yeah.
where like you're literally out there to throw anywhere between 1 and like 13 pitches, and then you're just done for the day. Like you're
Yes,
not
the lefty
expected to come
relief
back.
specialist.
You're not expected to do anything more. You don't have to go out. You're not trying for like a starting job. You're not the closer. You're just this guy that like throws hard to left-handed people only in specific situations, and you're just like, hey, I made $2.3 million a year for like doing one. Like I don't need to do more work. You can't get me out there for more. You don't want me out there for more.
And you could have like a 4.5 ERA, but as long as you're a lefty, you'll have a job out there. It's nice. I was thinking about that. I was like, maybe in the sports world, it's a kicker,
Mm.
but the kickers have all kinds of pressure on them,
Mhm.
and kickers get bounce around from team to team and all around the league, and there's no job security there. It feels like that if you're a left-handed pitcher, a relief pitcher, you could be below average and still get a 10, 12-year career out of it.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. I want a long career where I'm allowed to be below average and still be well compensated for it.
I really admire. We worked with a freelance. Let's just say this person happened to be of the generation of millennials and was a freelancer, and who was also working for an outside agency to pick up some slack for some work that's pick up the overflow work. Well, this person was really good at saying no to work. So here's a person who's hired to be the relief pitcher, to come in and actually pick up the slack. And this person would only work between hours of 9 and 5, would not work on weekends. Um, Whenever you asked them to do things, they said, "I'll think about it." Like they were, and then even when they would offer to do something, then they would kind of turn it down. Like, "Hey, do you want me to re-edit that video to make it shorter and more impactful for the YouTube audience?" "Yeah, that's great." "Okay, well, I don't know when I can get to that." "Wait, you just suggested it." Like, hey, do you want me to ship back that hard drive?" "Yeah, that would be great if you could do that." "Okay, that can't be. I don't think I'm going to get to that until next week."
See,
Well, why did you?
that's taking being assertive to an absurd level there.
I guess so. I
That's like the
guess so.
opposite of me.
Well, when you're hired to be a solution and you become a problem, that's when I can imagine people don't want to work around you that much. But when you're the person who absorbs everything, and my peeve is I'm trying to be. I tend to be how you are, Richard, where you're like I will shoulder the burdens, and then I've worked in communication a lot and corporate communication, and a lot of times I'm talking to people about the rainbow program or the find your parachute program. All these things that the employer is doing to try to make everybody self-actualized, like Yoga Monday. Like, I don't have time for Yoga Monday. I have to write an article about Yoga Monday. There's
Right.
never a time for me to eat the free cookie because we're too busy communicating about the free cookie or bake. We got to bake the free cookie. Sorry. Okay. So we are
You
at a
set Jeff
halftime.
off. I've officially set Jeff off, Michael.
Yeah, sorry. We're at halftime, and this halftime is brought to you by Buddha in the Cloud Mountains, which is Richard's new resort, where he is giving a yogic experience in the mountains of Tibet. There's blue, and there's white snow caps, and there's like a knickknack shelf back behind there too. Okay, and he also has Brian Wilson's beard.
Yeah, both both the former Giants and Dodgers closer, and also the Beach Boy. Either one works.
Either one. All right, so we're back in. Michael Winfield's going to let us know his third.
My third choice is one that I might have mentioned a week or two ago. I can't remember, but it involves listening to like full albums, like musical albums.
Oh,
Like
wow.
Right.
it's something that I try to kind of renew almost every year. It's nothing that is like important other than I'm trying to better myself or educate myself or just enjoy something more than I'm giving myself like this little snippet of. I have kind of this weekly thing that I do where I listen to a couple different um, like music playlists through like Apple Music, and one of them is like new music. They have a new music playlist, and I don't know, they add 30 to 40 songs on there every week. Sometimes they're repeats from the week before, but I try to listen to it, or at least I listen to 30 seconds of a song before I skip it and like, I gotta hate this. I hate this. But often I find new stuff that I like, and then I'll just listen to that one song. But it's so rare that I'll like dig deeper into exploring like a deeper catalog of whatever this person's put out. Oh, if they like one song, maybe I'll like the other song. It's so, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a time thing, or maybe it's just um, I don't, or like I don't want to get hurt thing. I don't want to download an album or whatever, and then have this thing that now at some point I'm going to have to get rid of when like 8 out of the 10 songs are kind of
Yeah.
sucky.
Right.
And I think it's like, maybe it's just like an old school kind of imagining of how like, oh, now I've got this record. I could just delete it. It's not like it's that big a deal. Just get rid of whatever. But there's a certain effort that's involved in all of it. There's time invested to listen to a 40 to 60-minute album. But then again, I'm listening to nonsense podcasts and
Yeah.
futzing around all day. So it's not like, I don't know. It's nothing that is changing the world. It's just one of those things that like I always want to expand my kind of musical horizon on, and I wish I remember to keep doing it throughout the year. Kind of, it starts in January and ends in April.
One of my third one was actually just listening to more new music.
Hmm.
I think
Oh,
I've
cool.
discussed on the show that I am someone who very much gets stuck in a rut
Oh,
and
yeah.
has the 30 or 40 bands that I listen to, or the genres of music, the very specific, genres and years and types of songs that I listen to. And I can only listen to Nick Lowe so many times, Jeff. You know what I mean?
I was in the cars listening to not all. It's like I'll take a break from Nick Lowe and I'll listen to Brinsley Schwartz and then some Rockpile. Like,
Right.
that's all. That's all Nick Lowe.
Exactly. So I can only there's only so many times I can listen to the same songs. And I remember having this conversation on the podcast and complaining about new music, and Michael kind of rightfully pushing back on me a little bit, that maybe if I were to be better at listening for new music, I would find stuff that I liked.
Hmm.
So I went ahead and I have replaced the 70s on 7 channel on my radio for Sirius XM with the Sirius XMU channel.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to make notes of, hey, that's a song I like, and I'll write it down on my phone when I get out of the car, and try and listen to a few more tracks from an artist if I like them, and decide if, hey, maybe I'll listen to a whole album or
There you
go
go.
into the back catalog. So I'm making the effort to try and to not, because I do feel like that once you reach a certain age, you have to make an effort
Yeah.
to listen to new music. It's not something that just sort of, when I was in my teens and 20s, new music just seemed to be around me all the time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like that's the same anymore. And I don't know if that's, I don't, I don't go to independent record stores. There's no more Tower Records. I can't get the Tower Pulse magazine to hear what they're recommending. There's no
Yeah.
more 120 minutes on there, this sort of like monolithic thing that kind of tells you, oh, there's a new Stereo Lab album out, and here's a song, and you can listen to it and go, hey, I really like that. Maybe I should get the album.
Hmm.
It's weird because there's so many ways to experience new music now, but at the same time, there aren't as many sort of, like I said, outlets that are just the one place where you go to say to have your taste sort of shaped.
Yeah. I've tried to remember that music changed from a socialization tool to a wellness tool for me. It's now the stuff that grandpa listens to when he wants to relax. It used to
Right.
be the thing you did to try to stay cool among your friends. And I'm not trying to be cool for nobody anymore. And Grandpa just wants to listen to his Victrola to try to think about the time when he was doing the Lindy Hop, out there after the ice cream social. Like it's a way to be comfortable versus back in the day, you would probably listen to like John Zorn to try to be crazy, to try to go out there on
Edgy
the
even,
edge,
yeah.
edgy, yeah. And I think you maybe are encountering what I am in that nobody's trying to sell us anything anymore. all
Right.
those all those music outlets that are trying to shill out the latest thing, they've got um, acne medicine and energy drinks that's sponsoring what they're doing, and we just ain't buying that stuff. So but I totally understand. If there was an old fart music network, I'd love to find out about that because
But no, that's not the one you want. You don't want that one. You don't want the old fart music
I
network
want
because
the
they're
new
just gonna.
music for old farts.
There
that's
you
what I,
go.
yeah,
That's
that's
what
what I
it
mean.
is.
Like I think you'll think this is cool because it's like if blank was updated. Okay, yeah, I can do that. Or if it's cool because blank. It's the new version. It's pushing your boundary, but here's the reason why you can kind of like with food. There's I don't know. You go to some restaurant, they might have a new take on hot dogs or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. Okay. All right. So Winfield, is this your fourth?
Yeah, this is my last
Okay.
one.
Okay. Okay.
Now this one is incredibly not petty, but on the lowest scale possible
Oh,
I
sweet.
could imagine. It's finally defeating the final character in Super Punch Out.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
Now listen, I when I was a kid, I used to play Mike Tyson's Punch Out all the way to the end. Could never get past Mike Tyson. Just I couldn't do it. Could never beat him. Uh,
samesies.
yeah,
Samesies, by the
just
way.
impossible. Just felt just impossible. Like the most. I'm sure that there's a trick and a pattern and all that stuff that I never learned. But by the time that I kind of aged out of my NES and into the Super Nintendo and then into N64, it just was like the one of those games that I just could never do it. Could never do it. But I have like this little Super Nintendo here, like this little Super NES Mini, and I have Super Punch Out on there. Man, I can get up to that Mad Clown. He just beats my ass. I think he's pretty much as same as like Bear Hugger, but I don't know. He's got clown powers. There's a few people on there that I'm just like, I just haven't had that time to get to the end. And this is one of those games that I feel like, all right, if I'm patient enough and if I put in the time, I can finally beat this goddamn Nintendo boxing game that's been vexing me for so
30
long.
years old. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
Is there
basically the same thing, right? Mike Tyson, I'm sure, is going to be based on whoever the final boxer is in this game.
is there a tutorial or anything you can do that you didn't have when you were
Oh, I
younger?
don't want to do that.
Oh, all right.
That's like
I'll do stuff like that all the time.
I don't know. I think that's part of it too. Is like, what is this? What is this? It's like a challenge to yourself. It's, can I defeat this as if I was 11 years old and there
Oh yeah,
weren't, you know, I don't have the Nintendo Power Guide to flip through and
yeah.
be like, punch him in the belly. Yeah. Oh, I see.
Oh, I never thought about hitting him in the gut in the
Yeah,
breadbasket.
the giant fat guy hit him in the tummy. It doesn't work.
All right,
Just
man,
sticks out
Freddie.
his tongue at you.
What's your last one? And is it the same as what Michael just said?
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing, except mine's no, it's not.
I am
Mine,
the end guy. I am the end
I
guy
want
in
to
Nintendo.
become the end guy in
I
Super
want to
Puns.
beat Michael.
Yes, I am. My goal is to become Rick or Nick Bruiser. And no, my last one's very specific to the podcast. It's to do more work on marketing the podcast this year.
Oh,
right on.
what a hero.
So, yay.
Awesome.
I mean, we've been doing this for 7 years now, and we've got like a small but loyal following. I'll get people who post on the Facebook page, or on our Twitter account. We still have a Twitter, even though it's evil and awful. Still have Twitter. Who post things like, "Hey, just listen to the episode and it's great." We're coming up on 20,000 listens of the
Cool.
show. That's a milestone we're going to be hitting probably this month.
That's neat.
So that's fun. But I think we've kind of settled into a groove of like, we got our listeners, whoever likes us listens to us, and we do a good show. Like, I'm really confident in the quality of our show. Like, not to brag or anything, but I think the sound quality is pretty good. The content is pretty good. I think it's a pretty good show. And I know Jeff was talking about this off air before we hit record. There's just a lot of things that we could be doing with video, with social media.
Yeah.
I just feel like that we hit a wall with marketing, and we've kind of just sort of been doing the same old with it. And this year I want to try and figure out what else we can do with it, how we can break through. We're never going to be Joe Rogan, and that's fine. That was never the intention of this. But I think there's more we can find out there.
I agree.
I don't know.
I'm down. I also thought about how much it would help to tag all those episodes out there on the award-winning website too. But yeah, guests and things like that.
And that website, by the way, redoing the website is what got me thinking a lot about this. So I want to reach out and compliment you, Jeff, on putting in the effort to make the website. If you guys and gals listening, have not been to MountRushmorePodcast.com lately, it is completely redone, completely spam and bug free, but
malware free.
malware free.
I
But it looks
would
great. It's easier to find episodes now. You can search, you can use tags, you can a lot of different ways you can figure out to find back episodes, which is a big deal for us.
Considering this is my legacy, this is what I leave to the world.
That's true.
It might as well be good.
It's
okay.
you. Yeah, basically you've got this, and you've got you hosting a fake Batman and TV show
People were like
on a network that doesn't exist anymore. I've got a game show that doesn't exist anymore. One episode of it.
You got that. That's that's exceptional. A lot of people would love to have that.
Doesn't exist online. Nobody can watch an episode. Nobody can watch it if they want to.
Michael's got a game show?
I've never been able to find mine either. What are you going to do?
Well, let's just say we're going to be cult figures.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So was this super fun? I know we'll accomplish all these resolutions. And let's give it up. I want to give up for the wellness ones because I love you guys and I want you to be well. And so let me go with Michael, maybe more nutrition focused in your food choices. So that's one for you. Leaning kind of choosing other beverages other than alcohol sometimes. So there's 2. Richard, mobility, stretching, being more lithe, more gammon, more cougar-esque, more
Supine
supine. I expect to see
is
that.
that one?
I
would
want to
drop.
see you by the end of the year in in a Plastic Man outfit with those big white glasses,
Nice.
just bending
With a
yourself
wall
into a
there.
pretzel and or like a park bench, please.
We'll see. We thought it was a red tire roll into the room. And pop, pop,
And
ha,
I pop up. Yeah.
ha! And then being more assertive at work because you're such a wonderful family, and I'm sure they would love more dad time. So, all right, this has been the Mount Rushmore of the thing that we do. I'm Never Jeff.
I am resolving to be Richard.
I'm Michael.
He never bites.
Never bites.
I ain't playing your ranger game.
Maybe next year. Maybe I'll resolve next year. Not gonna happen.
Okay.
Clowns.